You see it right here, esophagus. Okay? So that's easy. Stomach. You should know the arrangement, you guys, of the abdominal cavity. Liver up in the right upper quadrant, small intestines in the middle, the colon kind of frames it, goes around the outside, and then the liver's hanging over basically the stomach, okay, this portion here, and then posterior there is going to be where your pancreas is, and the first part of the small intestine is the duodenum, okay. So we'll kind of walk through these things a little bit. Here's the stomach here. The things you need to know about it. This is where the esophagus is emptying in here. The area right around here is called the cardia. And then this portion that kind of bulges up here, you get an air bubble here. This is the fundus, just right in this area here. And then this portion from going from about here to about here is the body of the stomach. And then from here to about here is the pylorus. So those are the cardia, fundus, body, and pylorus. Those are the 4 different portions or different areas of the stomach. Pylorus actually is where you produce most of your acid. Okay. This here is the lesser curve. Down here is the greater curve. Okay. If you open this up, there's a muscle where the stomach empties into the duodenum. You can kind of see it right here. And that's the pyloric sphincter. It's a smooth muscle. Pyloric sphincter. And then these folds inside the stomach are called rugae. We're going to see rugae inside the bladder. Okay? So it's just not seen alone in the stomach. Rugae. I'll show you greater and lesser omentum in a second. Again, stomach. What curve is this?
Lesser.
This one? This area right around here is the cardia. This here, fundus. From here to about here, body. And this is pylorus. And this muscle right here,
pyloric sphincter.
Pyloric sphincter. These ridges,
rugae.
Rugae. Look at you guys, man. You're on top of this. Now, the stomach sits like this, with that transverse colon right below it here, okay? Coming off of the greater curve of the stomach is an apron of fat that drapes down. It comes down, they show it just half of it here, drapes all the way down, comes back up and attaches to the transverse colon. This is called the greater omentum. The greater omentum.
That's disgusting.
Okay? We don't have it on this model, but if it was here, it would go off of this greater curve, it would drape down, come back up and hook to the transverse colon, and it covers the whole bowel like this. And we'll talk about what that is in lecture, what the heck it is. Now, on that, from the lesser curve, the liver sits over top like that, and you lift it up. On that lesser curve, there is a membrane that comes from the lesser curve of the stomach and attaches to the liver. And that's going to be the lesser omentum. Don't see it on the models in here. I will show it to you on the cadaver. Okay? And I'll show you the omentum on the greater omentum on the cadaver too. We okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So, next we get into the small intestines, and you can see 1, 2, and 3. Those are the 3 parts of the small intestine: the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum, and they're in that sequence. Okay, so as you can see, the stomach here is emptying right here at the pyloric sphincter into the first part of the small intestines called the duodenum. And if I take this off, what you'll see is that duodenum is C-shaped, and the head of the pancreas sits right in it. So this right here is duodenum. Okay? You can see it there, here, and right here. Okay? Now, just above that duodenum, you see that word plica circularis? What those are is to increase surface area in the small intestines. The mucosa, because of that muscularis mucosa, it contracts and it forms like a curtain, a plication, just like a curtain. And so you can see it right here. See those little round, those, and they're called circularis because they're in a circle like that. So that's all plica circularis. You can see it there. You can see it here inside of this guy. There's some of it right in here. Okay? And you can see it right in here. Plica circularis. Under duodenum, common bile duct, main pancreatic duct, duodenal papilla. Best seen here. So here's the duodenum, the head of the pancreas. The pancreas is going to make digestive enzymes and collect it in this pancreatic duct. We'll look at this closer. And dump it into the duodenum right here. And so there's the pancreatic duct. This little opening here would be the duodenal papilla, what my Q-tip is sticking in. Duodenal papilla right there. Common bile duct joins this, and that's what this green thing is right here. It joins and hooks up with the pancreatic duct, and they both empty through that duodenal papilla. Okay, we're going to go back and look at this common bile duct in a minute again, in that pancreatic duct. So this now is going to empty into the next part of the small intestines called the jejunum. And the jejunum then empties into the ileum, and the ileum empties into the colon. So, with that said, as the bowel sits like this, okay, this would be the entrance here into the jejunum. Okay, that is basically where this is emptying right here. This sits like this. Okay, and so this left side, all this small intestines would be jejunum. And then it turns into ileum. There's not a point that you can see where jejunum turns into ileum. It's actually by the mucosa on the microscope. And it's also how the bowel acts and absorbs. So 80%, 90% of the food that you absorb is absorbed in the jejunum. The ileum now is going to be the more distal part that's going to empty into the first part of the colon. And so with that, with the same thing here, most of this on the left would be jejunum. Over here on the right would be ileum. Okay? Here you can see the entrance in the jejunum. So this for sure is jejunum here. This would be ileum emptying here. You can see right here the ileum emptying into the first part of the large intestines called the cecum.